Hello, everybody. My name is Thane Kaiser, and I would like to invite you all to take a second to consider our mobile learning initiative proposal. One of the problems that we're facing is that for students grade 10 through 12, we feel that some members of those grade levels are being underserved by their current access to technology. Um, This can include limited access to personal computing devices, some limitations regarding shared technology in the classroom, unequal access to digital learning resources, primarily with some of our lower income uh, individuals who just may not be able to afford some of the devices that we would be putting a virtual classroom onto, and then also difficulties in building consistent technology-rich learning environments. So why do we want to do this? We feel that the mobile technology should extend learning beyond the classroom. It would give students access to immediate resources in Chromebooks, such as the Chromebook Classroom, and also the ability to have chats that are regulated through the school's operating systems, so they can interact with other students. Some people aren't as good face to face, and so this will help encourage collaboration and interactive learning. This also supports an active learning environment where people are sharing their thoughts and feelings about certain subjects, and perhaps understanding will be achieved a little easier through some of those explanations. So here's what we're proposing. We would like to implement a one-to-one Chromebook program for grades 10 through 12. So in this program, each student would receive a personal Chromebook, access to a Google Workspace tools, integration with the Google Classroom, and this should help us support our flexible mobile learning. So here's the device we're recommending. It's a Lenovo 300E Chromebook, or the Education Edition, specifically made for classroom learning. It is a durable design, so uh, students would be less likely to break these laptops. It does have an 11.6 touchscreen display, which is nice to be able to have either access to the keyboard or the ability to move things around on a tablet, as most kids in that age group are going to be prone to do. A good long battery life, so it can promote a whole classroom um, classes worth of time and not have to be recharged. It's got a fast startup, so when students get into class, they can deploy quickly, or if they're at home, they can also start it quickly, and that also leads into our cloud-based learning compatibility, which means that we should be able to share files between each of these computers individually. Some of the estimated costs for this are going to be for giving one to every single student, of which we have 200 between grades 10 through 12. We're looking at an estimated cost per Chromebook of around $320. This will include the Chromebooks themselves, the charging cables, and USB storage devices so that students can go between the Chromebooks and maybe some of the computers if they maybe have a graphics design class or some kind of art class or something else that would require a higher processing power. At least they can move between the two and store their files locally. With the total hardware investments, the 200 devices at $320 a piece, we're looking at an estimated total of around $64,000. We are looking to source the funding through a state grant program, and hopefully we'll be able to secure funding by the end of the summer. So to be able to implement this, we're gonna have a stage one preparation plan, which is where we purchase and configure all the devices. One thing we'll also have to do is create student accounts for each individualized student. This will take place in the teacher's homeroom, in the students' homeroom classes with their individual teachers. Um, we will distribute all the devices at the start of the year and then immediately start integrating them, allowing them to be used for digital assignments, research papers, and online assessments. We feel that this will have a very positive impact on all of our teachers. They'll be able to assign and collect work digitally, provide faster feedback in the sense of when a student's working on something, if the student has a question, they can immediately chat to the teacher, whether they're in the classroom or not. And so the teacher can provide feedback even if they happen to be at home for an extended period of time. Tracking students' progress. So in these classroom settings, they'll be able to set up uh, progression checkpoints so that the students will be able to meet a goal and it'll visually pop up on the teacher's side. and show that it's been done, or it'll actually show a percentage of where they might be in that current assignment. We'll also be able to integrate multimedia instructions. So if a teacher wants to share a video to the entire class, they can send a link out to everybody and they can access the link onto their individual Chromebook. Now, this will also help with some of our students who are maybe challenged in terms of sight or hearing because they'll be able to put in headphones or see the screens a little bit closer to their faces. As far as an impact on the students, so this will give the students the ability, like we mentioned earlier, to access our coursework at any time. It'll provide immediate access to that information. They'll be able to collaborate with all of their classmates. They'll be able to create presentations and digital projects, and this will allow them to build digital literacy for their college and further on into their careers. We think this is really important as they get older, they're going to be using more and more of these tools, and especially with our seniors, um, having all the setup and knowledge already given to them in the high school setting will be really beneficial for them going into their college careers. So we think this investment does matter. And some of the points that we're going to make to this are we feel that it will increase our student engagement. I find oftentimes when we look into classrooms, we have one or two students who are usually dozing or have a hard time keeping up, or maybe it's because, as we mentioned earlier, they have trouble seeing what the teacher's got up on the board, or maybe even hearing what the teacher's saying. But with the ability to plug in headphones and also have a screen right up close to their faces, it's going to be a little bit easier for those students to be able to interact with the classroom. They will also give an equal access to technology to all of our students, regardless of their social economic status. It should improve the instructional flexibility of the teachers. They'll be able to integrate more videos, more clips, more links, and just be able to send those out to their students to view either beforehand or during the class. As mentioned prior, it'll help them with a preparation for college and being able to enter the workforce. And we can start to introduce some of those professional aspects, such as using Microsoft Office or some of the Chromebook tools. It'll also support the modern instructional technology practice because the industry for schools at the moment is shifted almost entirely towards new technology, AI structuring, being able to deliver this into an electronic medium. In closing, we would just like to go over the points once more. This is a one-to-one Chromebook program for helping out with all of our schools, and with it, we feel that we can enhance teaching and learning, expand access to educational resources, and prepare students for a digital future. At this point, I'll be able to step aside and answer any questions. Other than that, I've been Thane Kaiser, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.